Good morning, everyone. Welcome to December the 17th. And here we have Jack from Muttley Jack to present today's coffee. And is the roaster, obviously. And before we get brewing, how much coffee would you suggest I put in for 200 milliliters of water?
Since we're working at 62 grams per liter, it'll be 12.4 grams for 200 milliliters.
Okay, so 12.4 here. All right, I'm set. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to be drinking today?
Yeah, so this coffee is called Wolichu Wachu. The name Wolichu is the name of an indigenous tree in Ethiopia. This coffee is, of course, from Ethiopia. It's from the Guji region. And Wolichu Wachu is the name of the washing station where this coffee was processed. It's a fairly new washing station. It's been set up by a cooperative and it services around 4,500 smallholders in the area in the highlands of Guji.
That's quite a few farmers then?
Yeah. Pardon?
Quite a few farmers that deliver.
Yeah, it is a lot. There's a lot of segmenting. So it's not that there's 4,500 different farmers in this one bag. This would be just a handful.
Yeah.
It's quite high altitude. It's up there around about 2,000 meters. And while it does have some of the characteristics that are typical of Guji, one of the things that I like about it is that it's confounding some of your expectations. With Guji, you expect to have huge burst of blueberry in your cup. And in this one, it is there, but it's much milder. It's more soft. This is something that at the roastery I've chosen as our own Christmas coffee. And people in Sweden, at least, have been asking, oh, Christmas coffee. So is it like super spicy? And like, no, not at all. It's not your typical Christmas coffee. It's more like a little black dress of Christmas coffees. It's very elegant. It's very understated. And it has this very soft jasmine quality, this floral aroma that you get from Ethiopian coffees, black tea that's a little bit more like a yirgacheffe and some citrus. But it's just it's a lovely, elegant coffee. There's notes of green apple, and there's just a nice softness to it that for me, it's a real elegant Christmas coffee.
Cool. And for brewing, how would you suggest, now I've already brewed mine, but how would you suggest people brew at home, or how do you brew your coffee?
I tend to recommend as hot water as you can get if you're going to use a V60. So up there at about 98, maybe even pushing into 99-degree water.
Yeah.
It's a very light roast. It's very high altitude. And it's still a pretty fast brew. So I think hot water is really good to get the most out of this. The grind setting, it's like a medium grind setting is fine to use with this very hot water. And if you are going to use a Kalita wave, I found that it helps to bring the temperature down a little bit, maybe 1 or 2 degrees cooler.
Yeah.
And I just put in about double the amount of water, do a normal bloom. And then after the bloom, so about 30 seconds, you're aiming to put in about 55 to 60% of your total water that you're going to use. And then after about a minute and 15 seconds or a minute and 20 seconds, it's time to pour in slowly the rest of the water and let it just drain out. And for 200 milliliters, it should be ready in about 2.5 minutes at max.
All right.
And I've been brewing one before we started this, so mine is already nice and cool. So we can discuss the different flavor notes that we get at the beginning for you and towards the end for me.
I'm going to try not to pour very much so I can cool it down. I can't taste anything when it's piping hot.
Yeah. Well, what I can get already now, and this has been brewed about 20 minutes ago, is
Yeah.
there's lovely lemonade quality to this
Hmm.
uh, after it is cooled to such an extent. A lot of the floral aroma has started to lessen. You really have to search for it now, but I think where you are right now, you should be able to get quite a lot of the blossoms coming through.
Cool. I think if for people who are new to specialty coffee, they should for sure make sure they drink coffee all the way through and sip it like right at the start, and then drink. Make sure they let their coffee last for like 20 minutes, like you have, because it really does change as the time goes on and it cools down. Yeah, I would say it is really lemony and sort of flowery, sort of at the same time.
Mm.
I wish I could be better at picking out the flavors that appear in my mouth.
Yeah,
There's lots
it's
of
tricky
yeah.
at the start when it's very very hot. Um,
Hmm.
if you think about the blossoms, jasmine is just one of the ones that I think you can get. There's a little bit of orange blossom, even a tiny little bit of uh, Swedish word is caprifol, and I'm struggling now to find honeysuckle. There's even like
Oh yeah,
a small element of honeysuckle in here.
yeah.
It's funny.
I
I'm
think
not a native Swede, but sometimes I forget my English words, and the Swedish ones come faster nowadays.
that's exactly. I feel after being in Norway for so long, I sort of forget the English words, and I haven't learned all the Norwegian words. That's where I become poor in two languages instead of proficient in two languages. I feel there's a certain taste of black tea in there.
Yeah, that would be not surprising, I think, for a Guji coffee that has some Uraga characteristics as well.
Mm. It's sort of yeah, like can you say, and sort of a refined, elegant taste.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of yeah, sort of delicate and elegant.
I think of it as like the antidote to your typical Scandinavian Christmas coffee, which is dark roasted, full
Mm.
of spicy tones, maybe even spiked with some extra flavors from outside the world of coffee.
Mm.
And this is just like it's an antidote to all of that fussiness. It's just a really elegant, simple, and
Mm.
satisfying cup.
Yeah, it's sort of like a warm, cozy drink you could drink
Yeah.
in front of the Christmas tree, for example,
And
while
even
you're
when
reading a
it's
book,
cold,
listening,
the
watching
warm
a
cold.
YouTube video. Mm. Great. Well, we can cut it off there. Thanks for introducing the coffee. Thanks for the tasty coffee. And we'll see you again in a few days.
Thank you.
All
Yeah.
right, thanks.